Welcome in, doing football, preparing for week 2 of fantasy football. Today, running back rankings, getting you our top 24 in fantasy football for the week. And look, let's say it. Week 1 didn't go well. James Robinson, Jamaal Williams.
A lot of guys we didn't think would do well, did well.
A lot of things we didn't see coming, especially the James Robinson one. My God.
Elijah Mitchell.
Well, we can't blame anyone for that one.
Yeah.
But in terms of what we ranked, Zeke, I wish we pushed Zeke down a little farther, but we're going to learn. We're going to move forward. And again, top 24. Jared's got the top 24 covered for us today. So let's go through this. Let's get through it quickly. Again, if you enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like, comment on the video as well. If you got any questions for week 2, any lineup decisions, happy to answer them as well. Join the Discord. We'll give you the link if you need it. Ask for the link. We'll drop it in the comments as well.
All right,
let's get to it.
One, obvious, Christian McCaffrey. Just elite no matter what.
That workload, holy crap.
He didn't even have a touchdown and he had, 27 fantasy points? Just ridiculous. 2 and 3 were pretty easy as well. Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, pretty good matchups. And then at 4, I moved Chubb up because he plays the Texans. And that's a juicy matchup. I love that. I thoroughly enjoyed watching him play on Sunday. That was awesome. He was just incredible. Derrick Henry, I moved him down to 5. He's got a good matchup against the Seahawks. He has those bad games every once in a while. Now, Aaron Jones, I moved up pretty far because I expect a big game out of these Packers. There's no way they have as bad of a game as they did in week 1 and don't follow up with just a monster week for everyone.
Yeah, I think A.J. Dillon's a sneaky play this week. We'll get into start and sits later, but the running backs could carry this game.
Yeah.
Again, Derrick Henry, I do think this is a tough matchup. So on OwnersBox, I probably wouldn't be looking to get him. The Seahawks do have a good linebacker core, but again, Derrick Henry can kind of do what he wants when he wants.
And then at 7, I have Zeke. Now, Zeke had a bad week 1, but I fully expect him to bounce back. He was on the field, he just didn't get the ball very often, so he should do well. Yeah,
that's all we're looking for. If he's on the field, getting the opportunity in this offense, this is a better matchup. Should be fine.
Exactly. And then at 8, Austin Eckler. He's playing up against the Cowboys, so a lot easier of a matchup than the football team. As long as he's getting receptions this time, he should have a good week because that was what was lacking week 1.
I will say that you got to monitor practice reports because I think we might, Eckler could move around. And I do think the Cowboys, with their linebacker group, this could be a tough matchup for all running backs this season. And then they might be more susceptible to the pass.
Yeah.
But you're still playing Austin Eckler this week.
For sure. One guy I moved up quite a bit was DeAndre Swift. I have him at 9. Now, Swift and Jamaal Williams had a great game in week 1. The Lions were using him everywhere on the field. As I explained in the reaction video, I think Swift is going to have a big year, and he's involved in the passing game everywhere. So I love this for him. He's somebody I'm going to be putting in a lot of my lineups this week.
Yeah, I don't love it, but I get it because the receiving group is just a complete disaster. But I mean, his production on the ground wasn't great, 3.5 yards per carry last week. So I don't know if I'd have him this high, but I mean, if the usage is there, then it might not matter at all.
Taylor, I moved down to 10 just because tough matchup against the Rams. So a little worried about that. David Montgomery at 11. Now, he was incredible against against the Rams. So now that he's got an easy matchup against the Bengals, I think he's going to be an RB1 for sure.
Smash. We could be looking bad for putting him at 11, I think.
Yeah. And then at 12, I know you didn't like this pick as much. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Now, he only scored 8.7 fantasy points in week 1. Yeah. But that was in a game script where they were losing all game. They were coming from behind, which usually doesn't happen for the Chiefs. So if they get into a lead, I could see him getting more involved. He was involved in the passing game too. His route participation was very high, so I'm not worried about Clyde.
Yeah, I just want to see what it looks like when there is a more of a running game script because again, like you said, they were playing behind all game long. But I just want to check here just to see what his routes run were. He ran 28 routes.
Yeah.
Ran 28 routes last week. So
I think his route participation was around 68%, which is really good for running backs.
Yeah.
At 13, another guy who had a great week 1, Darrell Henderson. Now, he wasn't a full workhorse, but he had about 75% of the touches or snaps. So he's somebody who is going to be very involved in a good offense, good matchup against the Colts. So I like Darrell Henderson this week.
It's an okay matchup. It's an okay
I think it's a pretty good matchup. Colts aren't like a good defense.
Darius Leonard, they're good on the edge. Their defensive tackles in the middle aren't great, but with Leonard in the linebacker as the middle linebacker,
Yeah.
I think it's an okay matchup. But the usage is there for Henderson, which was great to see.
Yeah. At 14, I have Mixon. I think he's just going to be like a high-end RB2 this week, unless he gets multiple touchdowns or something.
Pass game will be where he needs to work because the Bears do have a tough run D.
Yeah. Antonio Gibson, I moved him down slightly because of two things. One, the injury. He has a slight shoulder injury. I think it's like a AC bruise or something, so not too worried about that, but it is a short week. And the Giants' run defense was actually pretty good against the Broncos last week. The only thing they gave up was that one 70-yard touchdown. So
yeah, and if they're trying to make sure this injury doesn't become a big deal, then maybe McKissick, after not being involved at all last week, gets involved in the pass game just to kind of limit Gibson's snaps. So
yeah.
Something to monitor, but I love their usage of him last week, which could honestly have him as an RB1 this season if that keeps up.
For sure. At 16, Chris Carson. No,
this is way too low.
You think he looked good against the Colts, but he didn't actually end up putting up that many points now.
Right.
Like, if he gets a touchdown, then he could be like RB1 territory. But
the Titans
if not,
made James Conner look
know.
really good last week, so I don't know. Carson's usage is there, so I think in a good matchup he should be in the top 12. But I mean, I know what you're saying. He's got to get in the end zone.
He's like a high upside RB2 in my opinion.
Yeah.
At 17, Najee Harris. Now, he was bad in week 1, but he's got the Raiders this week. So if he can't perform this week, then I'm going to be worried.
Yeah.
But you still have to plug him in your lineup if he's playing the Raiders.
I see the Steelers throwing all over the Raiders as opposed to running all over them. So, but I do think Najee will be a little bit more involved in the pass game, and I think he'll still have 100% snap share. I don't think that'll change, even though he wasn't that great production-wise.
Yeah. Now, one guy, a lot of people are probably wondering where we put Elijah Mitchell. I have him at 18. So he's easily the top waiver wire ad of the week, and he's playing against the Eagles. The Eagles, their run defense wasn't good. I think Cordell Patterson actually played pretty well.
Cordell Patterson was super efficient.
Yeah.
Now, Mike Davis, not so much, but Patterson was
if Patterson can do it, I think Elijah Mitchell can do it, especially in the 49ers. So I like Elijah Mitchell this week as a running back too.
This isn't an easy matchup. Like I think that the Eagles got a good front four. This isn't an easy matchup. But Elijah Mitchell is going to get a lot of volume. I do think Trey Sermon's now going to be active and maybe steal some work from him.
Yeah.
But like Mike Davis, 3.3 yards per carry wasn't great, but Patterson, 7 attempts, 54 yards, 7.7 yards a carry. So pushing the ball to the outside is probably what they were doing a little bit more, and Davis was probably not running between the tackles very well.
Yeah. Two guys I'm a little bit lower on, Damian Harris at 19, Miles Sanders at 20. Damian Harris, because of the fumble,
Yeah.
Bill Belichick's the kind of guy where he's going to keep him in the doghouse for that.
I could see James White having 12 carries at a terrible efficiency, but it's like, hey, learn you're in the doghouse. You and Ramondre, you're in the doghouse. I'll put the 30-year-old or the 29-year-old James White out there for all snaps.
Yeah, and then Miles Sanders, he was pretty good last week, but he's got a tough matchup against the 49ers this week. So
yeah, he was good.
I'm a little worried.
He had 15 rushing attempts, 74 yards, which was good.
Yeah.
But I mean, Kenny Gainwell stealing that touchdown, grabbing 9 attempts in a game that they were up big in. So I'm interested to see with the tougher matchup how they split up the carries. If Kenny Gainwell just got touches because it was a blowout, or if they're going to split these guys like they did, where it was 15-9, which was, I mean, if that happens, then we're talking about a big loss in terms of upside for Miles Sanders.
Yeah, definitely. Now at 21, I have a guy who played pretty well on Monday night. I was surprised. Tyson Williams. He plays against the Chiefs, so it's going to be a shootout.
The receiving work he had.
Yeah, it was surprising.
Lamar missed him, I think, on maybe 2, or I think it was at least 2 along the sideline, kind of dump off balls that he was wide open and had space, but he just missed the throws. So that's a couple more receptions that he could have had from this game too, which was something we don't see from running backs.
It made me really sad as somebody who loved J.K. Dobbins coming into the year, knowing that could have been J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's going to have a good week. If he gets in the end zone, I could say it multiple times even, then he's a great play. I'm definitely willing to start him at this point.
Yeah, he had 4 targets. Tyson Williams. So.
Yeah, just a comfortable start.
Yeah.
22, Chase Edmonds. He doesn't have the highest upside, but he's the kind of guy where he's going to catch a lot of balls, so he's a nice, safe floor, and as a good matchup against the Vikings, could be a shootout. Kind of similar production to last week against the Titans, I think.
Yeah, I was surprised how efficient James Conner was for them too. That they used him a good amount. I'm just looking here. He had 16 rushing attempts. Edmonds had 12. So if it's an even split, even if this is a pretty good matchup, and then Edmonds gets involved in the passing game, of course, Conner doesn't at all. So
yeah. At 23, I'm somebody you were kind of surprised I put him this high, but Jamaal Williams. Now, I didn't think he'd be as involved as he was coming into the year, but he is involved, and it's probably going to stay. But he's involved in the passing game too, which means he's going to be somebody who you can start each week, and I think even alongside DeAndre Swift. I would not be mad starting DeAndre Swift as my RB2 and then Jamaal Williams as my flex.
I just can't believe we're at a point here where we're saying both these guys have value to be played.
I mean, it's because the receivers just suck, so they don't throw to them at all.
Yeah.
It's like these guys they combined for 20 targets last week.
And this was a game that they were just getting crushed.
Yeah.
And
they still use the running backs.
Yeah. So I mean, if they're playing a little tighter, then you're thinking the same thing. I want to get to your last guy, Kareem Hunt, who I think should be quite a bit farther up. This is a great matchup. The Texans actually were good against the run this past week, which was surprising. They were not at all last year. But if the Browns are running away with this game, then I think it's a healthy mix of both. And Hunt was great last week against the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's fair. I just kind of assume because the Browns are probably going to go to an early lead, dominate the game the majority of the way, Chubb is going to be more involved and Hunt will take more of a back seat. But yeah, once we get late in the game, it's kind of like garbage time. We could see a healthy mix of both. Hunt comes in, maybe scores a touchdown. So I could see it.
Comfortable starting Hunt this week for sure. A few guys that missed, we'll mention. Yes,
big one.
Saquon Barkley's not here. Look, I'm not afraid to. I wouldn't be afraid to not start him if you have guys in front of him in our rankings. Like, let's see if any of this prior efficiency is ever going to come back for him, if he's ever going to look anywhere near the same guy. Daniel Jones continuing to fumble, turn the ball over. Why don't they just turn this into, a higher volume of rushing attempts? They kind of got blown out by the Broncos, so there wasn't really a chance to do that. But
he's got another tough matchup this week.
Yeah, this week's a tough matchup, built into the fact that they just didn't use him a whole hell of a lot. So let's see what happens this week.
The offensive line is still so bad. I would not feel comfortable at all starting him.
Josh Jacobs as well, not in our top 24. Yeah. He was the illness was one thing, but he was also kind of banged up. Yesterday or on Monday, he really didn't look like he had much burst. He
got in the end zone a couple times.
He did. Two good runs there, but there was a play late in the game when the Ravens kind of knew it was run and sent everyone, and he had to miss one tackler, and he had the entire field. Didn't miss him. I just didn't think he had a lot of burst, and I don't know. I think this injury will kind of nag into this week as well.
He's just going to be a very touchdown dependent guy all year, I think.
Yeah.
And then after that, Javonte Williams is somebody I'm a bit higher on than most this week, but I have him at 28. But like the Jaguars matchup, I think he's going to be more involved than Melvin Gordon will be, despite Gordon being more productive.
Yeah.
It was only because of that one long run that Gordon's stat line even looks good.
Yeah.
So Javonte Williams already had more carries than him. He's on the field more, so I like Javonte Williams more.
Let's talk one last one. James Robinson not in our top 24. Carlos had more touches, so this is a wait and see approach with James Robinson, which sucks. It sucks that we're in this scenario, especially for those of you that drafted after the Travis Etienne injury. You thought you were getting a guy in the first 3-4 rounds that was going to pay dividends for you. Urban Meyer is just, the game plan made absolutely no sense this past week.
It's probably a fake rumor, but did you see that rumor of Urban Meyer already?
Yeah, the USC job opened up, so people want to push that narrative. It'd be hilarious to see that happen.
Imagine.
But again, the Texans were a terrible run defense, and then they just went ahead and threw the ball all over the place with Trevor Lawrence and didn't run it. Just made no sense. Just terrible game plan with all that time to prepare. So let's see what they do here.
And now they have a tough matchup. The Broncos defense, look what they just did to Saquon. So.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, top 24 running back rankings. Let us know who you think we're missing or who we should have moved up. And as well, be sure to check out the Lawnmower 4.0 from our partners over at Manscaped. You can use promo code BOX. You're going to get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with Manscaped. Another big weekend ahead. Some tailgates, all that good stuff. Make sure you're well groomed, well taken care of. Check out manscaped.com, all the products they have there, and the Lawnmower 4.0. And as well, as I mentioned earlier, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, drop a comment down below if you got any decisions or any questions for us too. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.